Hi, I'm Anne Fraser. Welcome to another edition of Bringing Hope to Alzheimer's. Today we're going to do something a little bit different because I want to say, how about those Chiefs? So I got my Chiefs shirt on today. Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. It's going to be awesome. And one of the things that I wanted to bring attention to today is there are a lot of other groups of people that sometimes we don't think about that deal with Alzheimer's and dementia. So we know that your average person can get dementia. You don't have to have the ApoE4 gene. You can get Alzheimer's without having the gene or two copies of the gene. You can also get Alzheimer's because you have something going on in your life, like we've talked about, something in your lifestyle, whether it's eating too much sugar, because we know that Alzheimer's has been called type 3 diabetes. It's also been called a lifestyle disease or an inflammatory disease. So with that, we are going to talk about some different demographics besides those people, whether you have a family history of it or not. So when we're talking about just like with the Chiefs, I don't know if you know this or not, and you can look up some of the statistics, but there are a lot of, especially in the past before they've really refined the helmets, there's a lot of people that had NFL football players or football players in general that got dementia over time because of so many concussions. So that's true also for any sports players that may get hit in the head more often, like soccer players, how they head the ball, things like that. So sports people in general can sometimes see an uptick in dementia and or Alzheimer's because of the trauma that they have from hitting their head. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to return back to the podcast in just a moment, but we wanted to do a quick infomercial and we wanted to tell you that we are looking for sponsors for our podcast. So if you or anyone you know have been affected by Alzheimer's and you're loving our podcast, then we would absolutely love to talk to you. You know, we're based here out of Kansas City, but we have listeners all over the United States. And in fact, all over the world, which is really fun and exciting to see where people tune in from. So France, Australia, all kinds of different places. And that's really, really cool to see our reach go so far. And we are hoping to take our podcast to 2 days a week. So in order to do that, we are looking for some podcast sponsors. So if you or anyone you know would love to have an infomercial about your wonderful company, we would love to spotlight you. And so please reach out to us and email us at info@thenightofhope.com. And we will reach out to you and we can talk about all the different levels that we have. You can sponsor for 1 month, 3 months, or a year. We'd love to talk to you about that. So thanks so much. And again, reach out to us by emailing us at info@thenightofhope.com. Thanks so much. Now we'll return back to the podcast. There's another segment, and that is our veterans, our veterans that have served in combat, that have been through war and in combat, and they have lots of times a higher propensity to get Alzheimer's or dementia as well because of their PTSD. And so this is a big study that they've been doing, and it's really, really showing to be true. So that's another demographic of people that we're seeing an uprise in Alzheimer's and dementia. Another area that I'd like to talk about is our rural communities. So a lot of times we'll see rural communities, they don't necessarily have the doctors and the medical professionals there to be able to get diagnosed, because remember, there's a lot of things you can do to kind of mask when you're forgetting things. You can make jokes about it. You can say, oh, I forgot, or oh, silly me. And there's lots of little things that can go for quite a while before it's ever really detected. So our small communities, our rural communities, sometimes we'll see a higher level of people who have full-blown Alzheimer's by the time they're diagnosed because some of those early stages were missed. And in small communities, sometimes they don't have the accessibility to maybe a lot of the organic food, or they don't have accessibility to some of the other things that in larger cities that you do. So along with your average person who can get dementia for many, many reasons, there are some other communities that I want to bring light to and be able to just say that a lot of people need to hear this message of hope. A lot of people need to be able to understand that there is something that you can do that will change your brain, that you can potentially get some of your fogginess or your cloudiness or things that are going on potentially reversed. And it's all about education. So if this podcast is something that you feel would benefit someone and they don't know, I mean, you have to really kind of look for us to find us. So please pass that along to other people, whether they live here in Kansas City or they live anywhere in the world. You can direct them to this podcast, and hopefully it'll be helpful for them just to understand this disease more and understand that there is hope. And that's not a message that we hear very much with the word Alzheimer's or dementia. So anyway, I hope that helps. I hope that kind of opens and broadens your mind a little bit to thinking about things a little bit differently and different groups of people that may be affected. So anyway, I appreciate you tuning in today, and I look forward to seeing you the next time on Bringing Hope to Alzheimer's. And go Chiefs! All right, thanks.